You know, it's always the worst when I get ready to do these streams and then I forget to start everything up and get it all going, get all centered. Let me get this balanced up a little bit higher. I'm trying to prop this up. And then my flippin' phone just went off. Obviously I get an eBay sale before the stream starts, because heaven forbid I get that captured on air. Anyone want to guess what I sold? I sold a great item. I'll tell you what the item is. You guys can guess what it's sold for if you want to play along at home. How's everyone doing? My name's Jay Craft. I'm happy to be here tonight. Super happy to be here tonight. Here, we'll make it fun. I'll even cover up the price for you. I don't even know if I can cover it. Nope, I can't cover it. A copy of Creature Shock for the, what is that, Dreamcast? Sega CD? Sega Saturn? Creature Shock for the Sega Saturn. It looked horrid. I had to run to the other room to get some chapstick. Hope everyone is doing grand tonight. I got the big hair don't care going on right now. I got a nice chill shirt going on. It's winter wear, right? I'm allowed to... There we go. I'm raising my seat anytime you guys ever see me do that. But yes, I hope you are all doing wonderfully. Let me check the comments. Can you guys hear me? Let's see. Make sure everything's looking good. I can see that I can hear myself. Yep. Self mic check. Appreciate that. How is everyone doing? $100. I would be thrilled. No, I wouldn't. You know, I don't know if you guys have this whole. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the phrase "chasing the dragon." It's kind of like a drug phrase, but like when I go out and I go sourcing now, and I see an item and I like pick it up and it's like $100. It's nice, but it really doesn't get me excited. Like, you know, the girlfriend, we've been going out, we've been doing sourcing, and she finds, you know, she's been doing great. She's been finding some nice stuff. She found like a $150 item, which we're gonna show on air here soon. And she was so pumped, and like I'm really pumped for her. But if I found the same item today, I found a $150 item. I was pumped for like a moment, and then it goes straight into the cart. It's just like on to the next. It's right on to the next. I don't know if you guys are that same way, where you don't get that same pump and excitement that you get from a $100 item anymore, just because you've been doing this so long. Give me 1 second, I got more notes I'm taking. Source. Oh man. I probably shouldn't be making drug references and then telling everyone that I'm excited and then starting to snivel. It is cold in my house. We are not running the heat right now. Give me 1 second, I gotta honk my honker. Anyone else doing Movember? We're 8 days in. Anyone else doing any November challenges? Anyone? How is everyone doing tonight? We got 17 excited individuals in the audience tonight. Who do we got so far? We got Money from Mars. We're here for a shout out fest tonight. If you would like me, we're giving out free birthday wishes. We're giving out free hellos. If you'd like to put in a proposal request, if you have somebody you'd like to propose to and you'd like me to be a hand in that, we're taking those tonight. We have Money from Mars here in the house. Always early, always good to see you. Thank you for being here. Mr. Exquisite, the one and only, went ahead and gave you administrative status in case we get any troublemakers. You can prosecute them to the fullest extent of YouTube law. We got Mike T, also got admin status. I appreciate you guys always, you know this. Thank you so much. Die Hard's been here quite a long time. We got Trilab Chi Farm Picayune. So we got a little bit of a name change. I'm not gonna reveal her original name if she doesn't want me to, but thank you so much for being here. Longtime admin, longest admin actually. Thank you so much for being here as well. Admin moderator or whatever you guys want to call it. We got Tyson Lee. Jay, where's your beautiful face? It is present and accounted for. Here I am. Thank you so much, though, for that. I'm sure that slightly sarcastic maybe mildly insincere comment. I appreciate it. Mr. I'm a wrench. You are indeed a wrench. Oh, that shit is golden. Here, I'm gonna crack a door really quick. It's hot. Oh, yes, I'm in pajamas, and I do not care. You guys got to see my butt right now. That never happens, does it? Okay. Oh, who else we got here? And yes, I'm doing the pajamas today. I really am. Maybe I might even have to turn on the exhaust fan too and get some air moving around in this bad boy, in this mamma jamma. See, the temperature was perfect in here. I'm like, oh, I'll close the door, I'll be great. And then the lights, man, do they just heat this room up so fast. We'll run it for 15 minutes. So the rest of the house is 72 degrees. Who else we got here? Kathy Ambler. Hello, I actually made one of the live shows. Hey, Kathy, welcome. We're happy to have you. You actually made one of what might be one of the last live shows. Ooh, we got some announcements later in the show. We got a lot of big news going on. Personal news, life news. I'm not leaving YouTube though. So those of you who are there secretly, just, you know, plotting and excited of the prospect that I might be leaving. No, I'm not going anywhere. Oh, it'll be a good time. An exquisite wrench indeed. Yes, money from Mars. But yes, Kathy, thank you so much. I am so happy that you're here. Everyone who takes the time to be here on a Sunday, I can't tell you how sweet it is to like get this whole thing booted up and see, oh, there's half a dozen people waiting. And it means a lot to me. And I know that there's streamers that get like 500 or 600 people viewing within this category, and I can't even fathom that number. I think the best we've ever done was like 80. But when I just have like 5 people waiting, it's like, wow, 5 people took time out of their day and they're waiting to watch this. It just blows my mind. So thank you. I appreciate you so much. Michael Pittman says hello to everyone. Hello right back to you. Mr. Exquisite says, sometimes it's not the price of the item that gets me excited. It could just be a specific item I have not seen in the wild for a while. Now that is a great contrast. Yes, I get excited about unique items. I actually have one in my background. I don't know if any of you guys have noticed that just yet, and we'll be talking about that item here a little bit later in the show. Christopher Garrett, hey y'all. Those of you who are watching who've never said hello, say hello. Get your little 2 cents in. Tell me what you like the least about me, okay? And then I'll just delete the comment, and that'll just be a thing that we do together. Guys, we've got 35 seconds to top of the hour. We're gonna have an interesting show tonight. It's gonna be so much fun. I will tell you, I put more effort into this one than I did the last 2, and there's a lot to talk about. It's gonna be a good time, so I do hope you stick around. Let's see if we can get some fact-based information out there. Tyson Lee, one of the last ones. Did I hear you that correctly? We will have some news within 20 minutes for you. Kathy Ambler, great. Finally get it figured out. You announced there's a change. Yes. Hillbilly Picker, hello from Kentucky Mountains. Hello to you as well. Thank you for being here. Scott Evict, howdy right back at you. Thank you so much, guys. This is going to be fun. Let's have a great time. Let's do that little... Oh, no! What is going on, guys? My name is Jay Kraft here with the Facebook group All Around Pickers Lounge. Join in if you haven't yet. Today is November 8th, 2020, and for the first time ever, I can say nice things about eBay. But the market as a whole, there's a lot going on. It's going to be a real interesting couple of weeks, but I want to thank you so much for taking the time to be here. Today, we're going to talk about eBay's Q3 shareholder call and what we learned from it. We're going to be talking about some FedEx credits, some promoted listing credits, and more. And big news, big, huge news makes the front of our thumbnail 75-cent shipping option coming to eBay. Now, unless you've lived under a rock, you probably already heard a little bit something about it, but we're going to be giving you some of the details that we have, which frankly isn't more than most people have, but as time goes on, we'll learn more, and that's just how it works. We get some information slowly disseminated from the ivory towers where Yanone and Sweetnam and all of them live. And hopefully the good news will continue to come. As you guys know, e-commerce has been a little bit all over the place since coronavirus. We can't even say the whole name. We'll just say the Kona, the Rona, the Roro started up. Now, if you missed out on last week's show, I always tell people, go back, watch the last one. It's important to watch them all. It's important to make sure that you get the full picture. Because those of you who don't know, we talk about a lot of stuff. Sometimes it's big picture stuff. Sometimes it's stuff, flavor of the week, whatever it might be. But last week we talked about eBay's Re-Markeplace, and we're going to be talking about it again this week. So if you missed out and you don't know what it is, when we get to the Q3 shareholder call, you're not going to understand some of it, but I'll try and give you a little gist. We also talked about some Prime Day records with Amazon. It's really interesting to see how much they've grown up and how much more growing they're doing. We're going to talk about that tonight as well. And then Etsy's redesign, which for those of you who are selling on Etsy, it's an interesting change. Now, normally this is the little segment where I tell you the other videos that I've uploaded on the channel. It goes without saying, I have not been updating and putting out standalone videos. You know what it is? Some of those videos just don't hit the mark. And I think the problem is, and I see other YouTubers who have this problem too. There's a guy named Scott Roger Richter. This guy is a slot gambler, somebody that I've communicated with a few times before. Mega millionaire. His videos do great when he goes live. His pre-recorded content, not so hot. And I think part of it is that his pre-recorded content is kind of a half-assed, half-baked attempt at his live stuff, and it just doesn't really fill the gap the same way. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be focusing more in on producing some higher quality stuff, like some of my how to price anything videos and my cubic training videos and stuff like that, but it's going to be with a little bit of a twist. I'll be explaining that here in a bit. But what I do want to say, that is, if you have something you want to see, we already have a lot of ideas in the works. Let me look here what we got planned already. We're going to do a best way to ship video, which we're going to be talking about that. Perfect way to list your items videos. I have a Patreon intro video I need to do. I hired a voice actor, and we got some skits put together that I never finished. We're going to be talking about INADs, colors, things you can do to protect yourself, getting started on eBay video, finding items around the house videos. And then we have a whole bunch of ideas that are already kind of either started or I'm putting together storyboards on them and stuff like that. But if you have an idea of something you want to see, let me know. And I'll be frank, if I like it, I'm going to run with it. And I'll go ahead and give you some credits in the credits for that idea. But if you got something that you would kind of like to see that maybe you haven't seen anyone else do, please tell me. It might be fun. But yeah. Now, I want to talk about a video really quick. Before we get started on the news tonight, sorry, that's a very acidic drink. Someone posted into group chat last night a video from a channel called The Real Reseller. And this is a reseller who is like a classical reseller. And he went ahead and just said horrible things about the reseller community here on YouTube. And I sat back and I was watching it. And like the first time when one of these types of videos comes up, it's real easy to look at it and just like click the dislike. And, there was like 30 some odd dislikes on it. And not really want to, hear what the person has to say. And I think that's kind of something that's just kind of encompasses 2020, or more specifically the last 4 years. If we don't like what we hear, we just hit the dislike and we move away. I've even had that problem here on my channel where people watch a 2-hour video, and if I say one thing about an item that they have a vested interest in, then they're just going to go ahead and dislike it and they're going to leave, and that's fine. But this guy said horrible things about the entire community, and I was listening and I'm like, man, this guy is right. And he said some things that I've kind of bitten my tongue on for a while, but I kind of wanted to talk about it a little bit, and then also talk about how I kind of reflected a little bit after watching that video. And I was laying in bed before I went to sleep, and some of the thoughts that I had to say. And one of the overarching themes of his video is that a lot of these resellers who do YouTube channels aren't actually resellers. And I know what you're thinking. You're like, well, no, they buy stuff and they sell it. They're absolutely resellers. But he was talking about how some of these people have a spouse or a partner who generates an income. And, one of them he was referring to says, yeah, your wife, she's a teacher. And I know, yeah, teacher salaries aren't great, maybe $30,000, $40,000 a year, but it comes with benefits, and benefits is highly valuable. And that's something that a lot of resellers, let's be honest, we go without. A lot of us can't simply afford to find the margins to be able to squeak in benefits, or we look at the cost of benefits and we say, well, I would rather have $5,000 more inventory than pay for $5,000 worth of insurance this year. I would rather have the inventory and I'll deal with it next year or next year or next year. And they also talk about the fact that this is not an easy job. And I had somebody message me before the show and say, hey, I don't think I'm going to be able to make the show, And I hadn't really been hearing much about him and his reselling because we did a consultation. I talked with him. And I want to be clear, it's very important to understand. I offer free consultations. And that's even if you were just saying, I think I might want to be a reseller. I'm not sure if I want to be a reseller. I'll give you 20, 30 minutes of my time. Okay. No charge, no obligation. Just talk with me. And I think some of you might be undervaluing what we can accomplish in 20 or 30 minutes. If you want to make more money, just call me. And I don't care if you give me a dime or not. I want to see the community succeed. And one of the things he even said, he's like, if anyone's any good, if they're a good reseller, they're not going to be on YouTube. And I kind of disagree with that because I consider myself to be a good reseller, but there is a lot of resellers who aren't good resellers and they just started. They maybe started 3 months before their channel started. And I've even known some that work 50 hours a week at a traditional job, benefits for the whole family, and they're barely scraping margins on Amazon. But I want to be clear, for those of you who haven't started, maybe you've just given it some consideration, this is not an easy job. Not at all an easy job. And it's not even a glamorous job at times. This can be a very, very challenging job if you want to do this as your full-time income, especially when you're starting out. In the very beginning, if you're considering starting reselling and you only have a couple $100, you are going to need help. You're going to need to lean on mentors. You're going to need to lean on a group. You're going to need to lean on people for help. This is not an easy job. And if you go into it and you say, I think I want to be a reseller, but I'm not really sure, don't do it. Okay. It's not for you. Frankly, it isn't. And there's a lot of things that sure, you can go try for a week and then you can kind of walk away from and say, oh, that didn't really work out. It's not really for me. You can go get hired at some place and say, oh, I decide, I don't want to work at retail. I don't want to be a cashier at Target, and you can change your mind. There's really no love lost. But when you decide you want to be a reseller, yeah, you have to buy a couple $100 worth of equipment. And honestly, if you're going to be any good, you're going to buy a couple $100 worth of inventory. And a lot of people don't realize your early stages are going to be very pivotal to deciding whether or not you're going to make it as a reseller. I was even thinking about the dolls category today when I walked past a whole stack of dolls. And I thought to myself, I'm like, what would have happened if the first, 10 dolls I picked up, I had 5 that were really good? Would I be looking at this category drastically differently? And I know there's a lot of resellers who come into the industry or want to be, and I don't mean that disrespectful, they want to be a reseller. They come into it and they have a very poor experience early on. Girlfriend, prime example of that. She was getting so frustrated. She's like, I'm just looking up item after item after item after item, and I'm not finding anything. And you're over here finding stuff here and there. And then that's worth so much. And I told her, I'm like, hey, look at my phone. You don't know this. I looked up 100 items since we started today. Over 100 today. I'm a decade-long reseller. I looked up over 100 items today alone. Okay. With the time comes the ability to be able to research faster, to be able to recognize items and make smart buys. But in the beginning, you don't have any of those advantages. And if you struggle early on, especially for that first week, and you're buying scrappy items and you don't happen to hit any jackpots, $100 bill, $200 bill items, yeah, it's going to be a really hard go for you, especially moving forward. So I just want to be clear. It is not an easy job. And anyone who is trying to sell you the notion that this is an easy job is lying to you, okay? Because there's a lot of hours that people don't see. You guys might see me showing you all these cool items, but I might have been out for 10 or 20 hours to get all those items. And you guys might see all the cool items, but you don't realize I'm going to spend 4 hours prepping them, cleaning, taking off tags, counting pieces, assembling stuff. I'm going to spend 4 to 6 hours photographing these items, and then I'm going to spend 6 to 8 hours listing all these items. And then guess what I do after all of that's said and done? I got to place them onto my shelves. I got to make space. I got to do inventory. And then with the most fortunate of scenarios, someone will buy the item, and then I must pack it and then deliver it to the post office. Okay? And if you're not prepared to do all those steps, you're not going to make it. So a lot of this job is sourcing, listing, packing, photographing, and repeating. You're just doing this vicious cycle, and it is not glamorous. Sure, there's glamorous moments when you, holy cow, I scored a $500 vase, for instance. Or, I made this great contact and you had 10 grand worth of Legos. Cool. But when you spend 8 hours at a yard sale, and you make like $250 doing it, and you're, offloading your scrap, it's not very glamorous, but kind of comes with the territory. So a lot of people out there, they do have supplemental income, and a lot of them aren't really resellers, okay? So there's a lot of these channels that are made for entertainment, and I'd like to think that I am mildly entertaining, but I also really, truly hope that you are walking away and saying, man, this guy taught me something today. Because I'll tell you right now, if you're not going to be a reseller and you're not learning anything from me, please take your time and invest it into anything else. Okay, I'll give you a list of books that are worth reading, okay, that can help you be a better reseller. And I'll even tell you, what's his name? Go watch Sean with Reserved Investments. Go watch Rudy with Alpha Investments. Great channels for learning about speculative and emerging markets. You can learn a ton and you can make a lot of money. Both of those channels, I will say hands down, are better than my channel, okay, with the quality of the content they produce. But if you're not learning anything from me, and the same goes for other resellers, if you're not learning anything from them, leave them. That's really the truth. And then he also touches base. He also touches base on how Amazon courses are dead, and I completely agree with him. Anyone that's peddling an Amazon course right now, and I don't know who these people are because I genuinely do not watch other people's channels. Anyone who's peddling an Amazon course right now that says, oh yeah, bundle items together and you can get rich, they're lying to you. Anyone who says, oh yeah, you can drop ship from China or, Baghdad, or you can get it through Alibaba, and you're going to get this this white label item on Amazon, and you're going to be the only one selling it, and you're going to make a fortune. They're lying to you. Anyone who tells you that private label or like $6 ASP is the way to go, they are lying to you. Okay. Traditional reselling, what we're doing right here, the hard and grunty and dirty work, because it is dirty work, this is the way that you can make reliable, long-term, and stable income, but it doesn't come right away. That first month, that first 6 months, and believe it or not, that first year are very challenging. Okay. When I moved from Fresno to Bakersfield, I thinned down my inventory to almost about $10,000 worth of inventory. As of today, okay, 1 year, 2 years. 2 years now, right? I believe I've been here in Bakersfield. That has to be right? Yeah, 2 years I've been here in Bakersfield. My inventory now sits at $90,000 worth of inventory. Okay, that's a lot of items not selling and a lot of money reinvested back into my business. You have to be mindful of these things. It takes a while to build up your brand, but once you get it going, you're going to be successful. So before the show started, I made a comment. Okay, we have this episode and we have next episode, and then we're probably going to do something really special for Christmas. And then I do not think I will ever produce Reseller Roundup again. And I'll tell you why, okay? Because I am no longer enjoying it for the reasons I should be enjoying it, okay? When I first started doing this, there was so much stuff going on within eBay and the community. I felt like there were so many things I needed to talk about to make people aware of and things that were going on. But I stopped having that excitement, I don't know, maybe like 3 or 4 months ago. There just wasn't so much of that, really hot button stuff going on that really needed to be delved into. And I started making content for you guys and not so much for me, which isn't inherently bad, but this kind of touches base on what he was talking about how a lot of these resellers aren't resellers anymore. They're YouTubers. And they make most of their money through YouTube. I make about $25 a month through YouTube. I'm going to be completely honest. And then I also get about $10 every other week from Mike, because he's a lovely person who wants to buy me Doritos. Okay. And this week, don't give me any money. I don't want any money this week. Okay. But he talks about this and he says, like, yeah, these people are YouTubers right now. And there's nothing wrong with that. If you want to be a YouTuber and you want to make entertainment content and you want to do that, that's fine. But I would much rather make videos that I really enjoy making and then share them with people who enjoy the videos that I've made, rather than making videos that I think that you will enjoy and then hoping that you enjoy it and then in turn getting joy knowing that you enjoy it. You see that little difference right there? So it's going to allow me to take more time to make higher quality content. And I would still like to go live maybe once a month, have a little hangout with you guys, show you some cool items, talk about sales, maybe talk about a little bit of news, frustrations, and things that I've been having. But I don't want to get pinned down to this every other Sunday or every Sunday type schedule, because sadly, I'm just not, it's not financially feasible. The last 90 days on eBay, because you guys remember I was doing the whole census thing just to generate some extra money. Last 90 days on eBay, I did $20,000 in sales, 20 grand in sales. And that's almost wholly on the fact that I'm not driving a ton of time into this production anymore. I give it a day and a half every other week. But even that, I know is costing me a lot of money. But I want to make stuff that I'm really excited about making. And I have a couple of videos. I want to make one talking about it, how difficult this job is from front to back, talking about the challenges with sourcing, inventory management, and then some of the little things that I've picked up over doing this for a decade. And I want to share those things because there's little things. I have optimizations in my garage of things that I've done. I'm like, man, I think people would really, get a kick out of learning these little things. So that's going to be the goal moving forward. I want to make content that I love making. And if you like it, great. And if you don't, then that's also okay. I'm not going to hold it against you. But hopefully you will, and you'll stick around. And we might do, the girlfriends express some interest in doing some vlogs that are around the world of reselling. But yeah. Can you put a link to the reseller video referenced here? The channel name is The Real Reseller. He has 4 subscribers. Yeah, it was a video from 6 months ago. And I don't know if he has any other videos on his channel. I did not look around. But yeah, hopefully you guys will see. This is not a little shout out fest. And yeah, we'll do some real stuff. Now let's talk about some news. I still don't have my transition button built for the news. I've just been too busy. And my bulb is out. Gosh darn it. See? Damn budget cuts. So I want to talk with you guys first about top-rated seller promoted listings, final value fees, and FedEx shipping issues and credits. There was a podcast as well as an accidental post that was put out that led people to believe that the promoted listing credit that top-rated sellers get, which is $30 every quarter, is going to be removed. Now, we believe that that's already set in motion and that's going to happen. eBay went ahead and made a few mistakes and they revealed a little bit of information early. And I don't think they meant to, but they did. And I don't see them stepping back off of it. We've seen many times before stuff like the line per line fee credits and other factors and other things that eBay has announced pan out to be true. So this is another one of those things. If you are using your top rated listings, promoted listings credit, I would say be very mindful of when you choose to end it, because a promoted listing, even when you end it, is still considered a promoted listing for 30 days after the time that you end it. So let's say you have your $30 credit and you see, oh, come January, they're going to be ending it. If you end all your promoted listings then, you're still going to be paying the fee all the way through till January 30th, unless they make an announcement otherwise. So be mindful of that because it can cost you a bit of money. On top of that, we spoke, like I said, 2 weeks ago about that. We also have some FedEx credit information as well, which I found to be pretty neat. They're doing this thing where you can actually get 20% off your final value fee if you choose to ship an item FedEx. I sold a $1,300 box of cards. My final value fee would have been about $130, but I actually shipped it FedEx and I got 20% knocked off of that, which is what? $26. So I put $26 back into my pocket by choosing to ship FedEx, and my FedEx option was only, I think, like 12 bucks, 13 bucks. Those of you who are not using FedEx yet, there's a few things that you're going to want to know. And I'm not sure if other people are mentioning this. If you have a FedEx order, I strongly suggest that you take photographs of the measurements on your item before you send the item out, as well as a photograph of the label on the box with some type of indicator to mark that this is the box that you're actually working with. So maybe put an X on it, a circle, a square. The reason is that brands like FedEx and UPS actually charge after the fact. So you may see it getting deducted from your invoice and whatnot, but it's always going to be after the fact. So the number that you are presented on the computer when you're making the label is only an estimate. And your estimate may be $12, but you might see later, oh, somebody keyed it in. Instead of keying in 24 inches, they keyed in 42 inches, and now you could have a $100 package on your hands. So it's very important that, one, you take good evidence of the items you're shipping out, especially when they're large and heavy. Maybe even have it on your scale when you take the photo. And two, you review your invoices after you've shipped your items out the following month and make sure that the prices correspond the way they should. Because people have been getting dinged for, $20, $40, up to $100 on a single item, which in my opinion is just a little bit egregious. That looks a little better, right? Minus the missing light. Okay, this credit that they're offering is going to be available until December 10th. It's kind of scummy that they're not kicking this all the way out till Christmas, but what can you do? 20% off is 20% off. Now, the biggest news of the night, the reason why 32 of you are here right now, is because we have a new shipping option coming to eBay. Now, it's temporarily going to be with eBay, but they are talking about rolling it out throughout all of USPS. What we're going to be calling this is standard envelope. Okay. Now, in an article that was put out, it was stated that standard envelope is not quite ready yet, but will certainly be working and letting sellers know when it is. In the meantime, they apologized for a mistake. They made a mistake and they accidentally posted up a page, which was subsequently removed later, that gave information about standard envelope. The forthcoming eBay standard envelope service has quite a few restrictions. Once it rolls out, it will only be available to sellers who are shipping raw trading cards with a total value under $20. Now, I think that trading cards would be all encompassing. Trading cards, collectible cards, sports cards. I'd like to think that it's going to cover everything. I can see there being some real interesting restrictions. I could see it that cards that have certain, maybe inserts, jersey cards, football cards with like the actual football, cut out in there, cards that contain coins or medallions, stuff to that effect. Certain cards that are maybe heavier weight, they have that cold foil, they have some type of metal inlay, something to that effect, might have restrictions. We're going to be learning more details as time passes on. There are requirements on the envelope. The envelope cannot be smaller than 3.5 by 5 inches. It cannot be larger than 6 1/8 inch by 11.5 inches. It can be no thicker than 1/4 of an inch, and the weight is up to 3 ounces. Now, I was digging through the forums. You guys might not know this, but not only do I go through e-commerce bites, eSeller Cafe, I also go to the eBay community board forums every Sunday and I read every single comment because, not only do I want my own personal opinion, but I kind of want to hear the devil's advocate. I want to hear what other people are counterpointing to some of the things that are generally positive or positively counterpointing some of the things that are easily perceived as negative. I've been to some boards where people say managed payments is the best thing that's ever happened, and then I see the counterpoints and then vice versa. So one of the biggest complaints was, why isn't it just anything up to 3 ounces? Like, why are we seeing this hard category restriction, obviously imposed by eBay? Now, eBay has been seeing a ridiculous volume within their collectibles category, so much so to the point that Jordan Sweetnam himself actually posted about it on his Facebook again. I think he's posted about it 3 times now. Now, those of you who have been paying attention to the show, I sold something. See, as I put my phone on silent, I sold, that J. Crew pink sweater. It just sold for $15.50. It would have sold for more, but we did not have the tag. We could not identify the material or the size. So getting $15.50 on a sweater that you can't identify either, that's pretty good. So those of you who have been actively following the show know that I talked about this book a few times. The Great Beanie Bubble by Zach Bassinet. This was published in 2015, I believe. I strongly recommend you get this book. Like strongly recommend that you get this book. We're going to talk about here a little bit later. You can take a moment and order it online. I got a hardcover. I think it was like $6, $7 to get a copy of this book. And the reason I'm mentioning this is because the collectibles market is going crazy right now. And the reason it's going crazy is because there's a lot of speculators. A speculator is somebody who will look at an item and will believe that the value of that item is going to go up in time, whether it be in the short term or the long term. They will believe that certain items are what we call investment grade, things that you can actually invest your money into, even though some of these categories are very much so unestablished categories to where they don't have that long-term history with in comparison to things like coins and bladed weapons and first edition books. And those of you who have watched Reserved Investments, you've heard him talk about these categories as well, and he's very much so true. And I have ordered every single book that he recommends people to read, and I have learned a ton so far. So we're going to be talking about that, but right now, the collectibles market is on fire, and there's a lot of people going after certain baseball cards, modern and vintage, Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Magic the Gathering. A lot of people parking a lot, and we're talking billions of dollars into this category right now, and it's very much so the exact same thing that happened with the Beanie Baby market. Remember when this was a thing and everyone and their mother thought that they could park their money inside of Beanie Babies and it was going to pay? And I'm sure there's one of you out there right now who was holding on to Beanie Babies and thought, oh yeah, this is going to be my child's college fund, or this is how I'm going to retire someday, because these things are going to go up and up and up and up in value. We're seeing the same thing happen with trading cards, and we're going to circle back here in a second, okay? The category requirements says total trading card values must be less than $20. Now, that will most likely creep up over time, whether that's through some type of vetting process where, the buyer and seller may need to have certain requirements to be able to get that value to go up, or certain people may be eligible and other ones might not be, or through a securing of the process, or maybe even like a standardized envelope that's possibly like a more secure transaction or top rated sellers or whatever it might be. I do expect that value to go up over time. It says shipping no more than 4 raw trading cards per envelope or 2 trading cards with top loaders. Now, a raw trading card, I found it very interesting that they chose to use that verbiage. So for me, when I think of a raw trading card, I'm thinking just the card on its own. This is a first edition Nidoqueen from Jungle Set. Okay. Now, if I slip this inside of a slip sleeve, we call this a penny sleeve or just a card sleeve, is this still considered a raw card? Okay. And now they also said, what about if it's inside top loaders? And these are top loaders. These are little plastic holders that you can actually place the card inside of. Now, these top loaders, got to hear my Jeff sound. My top loader here, they said we can use 2 of these, and 2 of these are supposedly going to be underneath of a 1/4 of an inch. Now, while I have these here, I must tell you guys, okay, these cards are exceptionally common. This is a Jungle First Edition Pikachu. Almost every single card collector who had Pokemon cards at one time should have some of these lying around. This is a $40 card right now because the speculative market is going wild for these, okay? Enough people believe that this card is going to be worth more in the future. They are speculating on this card. Well, the reality is there's been people speculating on Pokemon for decades now. I believe these came out in like 85 or no, 95. When did these come out? 95, 96, 98. Yeah, these came out in 95. And when I first started trading these, I was maybe a freshman or a sophomore in school. This was a 15-cent card. And there's people that speculated that this card was going to be worth more, and sure, they were right. And they started selling them, I don't know, maybe a year ago for about $5 a card. That's what this traded for. And now it's at 40, and there's still people out there who believe that this card is going to be worth more. And just like with the Beanie Baby craze, the people who got in late are going to be the ones paying the most, and they're going to be definitely the ones paying the most when these become worthless. Okay, it's only a matter of time before they become worthless. Whether that's 5 years, 20 years, or 100 years, it's going to happen. So be careful with speculative bubbles. Again, I cannot emphasize enough. Read this book if you are speculating on anything right now. Okay, so it also says no graded trading cards as well. So if you have anything that's PSA graded or CGC, CGC does cards, I believe. or maybe it's just comics. But if you have any PSA cards, or if you have any like third-party grading companies that have graded the cards, they don't want you shipping those. I haven't ever seen a graded card worth less than $20, so I don't even know how that's going to be possible. It says sellers will be able to drop off standard envelopes at regular USPS locations. The eBay employee didn't say when the new option would become available to sellers, nor did she give you any indication of a timeline for expanding eligible categories. It's possible that the USPS is planning to make standard envelope option more widely available, though it could be testing it on eBay first. Let us know what you think. That's what the article wrapped up saying. And I'll tell you what I think. I think that we could probably expect a rollout, I would say mid to late Q1 next year. For generally speaking, when stuff like this drops, you see it around then. I'm going to say conservatively, no later than the first seller update next year. So that's going to be the spring seller update, which usually drops around March or April. That's probably the latest you can expect something like that to happen. Now, on top of that, we got some other interesting announcements. Now, I know some of you are like me and you're a holdout on managed payments. You just simply haven't gotten forced into doing it yet, and I love it. I love being on PayPal still. And for those of you who aren't on it, still, it is lovely over here, okay? But for those of you who are waiting and you're concerned, I know we've talked about this before about using alt payment options. We talked about using PayPal cash cards. We talked about NetSpend. We talked about, what's that other one? Chime. There's a lot of alt accounts that provide routing and account numbers. Well, managed payments holdouts, they're saying now that they're going to be able and capable to do a 2-deposit verification method. Now, this is the same method that we saw for PayPal back in 2001. Apparently, it took eBay 19 years to catch up with this idea, but we saw the same thing in 2001 with PayPal. And what it is they put a couple of small deposits, like 3 cents, 8 cents into your account, and you punch in those amounts, and then you're able to verify that you own the account. Because that's been one of the biggest hiccups with people who are trying to get moved into managed payments or getting migrated over. They're having a failure or inability to verify their accounts. So this method is a much easier method, and I'll let you guys know when I am prompted to, I'm going to attempt to use a PayPal cash card to do my migration. The reason is I'm a bit of a credit ghost. I don't have a standard bank account, which I know seems wild, but it is totally possible to get away with. So I'm going to try it. I'll keep you posted, but I just wanted to share a little bit of that good news with you. If you guys have any questions too about cards, top loaders, standard delivery, feel free to leave them, even in the comments if you're not watching this live. And if you aren't watching this live, I like you less. Just wanted to put that out there. Amazon Fulfillment Center sees some serious growth. Those of you who don't know, Amazon is like getting some really deep roots in the world. I frankly don't understand how with 52 or 53 cents out of every dollar being spent online going through Amazon, how we can't, in good faith, call this a monopoly. Remember when the U.S. government used to work to break up monopolies and now they sit back and they offer them discounts? It's really crazy to see. Right now, Amazon is opening its 6th fulfillment center in Australia, its 6th fulfillment center in Spain. They just announced an air hub in Europe. I think that's going to even be open soonish, which is really going to streamline international activity. They announced a Melbourne warehouse is getting done. And on top of that, Jeff Bezos decided to sell $3 billion worth of shares into the open market pre-election. Very interesting time to be doing that, but I kind of don't blame him. If I had that amount of money in the market, I'd probably do the exact same thing, especially with the way the odds looked pre-election. Guys, we also had eBay Q3 shareholder call. Did anyone tune into the shareholder call? No, I kind of don't blame you. They're really, really dry. And this one was not very exciting. They gave out some details as far as migration for managed payments sellers. They said that we got 340,000 sellers on managed payments. Now, I understand that they were limited by the PayPal agreement as far as how many people they could bring across previously. But I don't think they're under that binding agreement anymore because they've been bringing people over in droves. 340,000 is not a large number. And I kind of wish they would let us know specifically how many sellers we have here in America, because I do believe that it's predominantly American sellers that they're migrating over right now. But they did say that in 2021, the expansion is planned to go to France, Italy, and Spain. And I'm really curious to see how they receive the news and how they like the rollout over there. They did also give us some light, and they said 20% of the platform's volume is currently being done via managed payments. So that is a good chunk of the volume that they're doing on the platform. They also said that promoted listings, those of you who are spending that little bit of extra money, promoted listings is up to $186 million, which is up 80%, which is going to happen. This is what happens when you get 1 million new customers. You're going to convert some across to sellers as well. Uninformed sellers are going to take the option when told that it could help them sell their items faster. You're going to see that, especially in competitive categories like collectibles and watches and shoes. Which leads me into eBay's authenticity guarantee. Those of you who didn't know, they have a guarantee now on watches over $2,000 and shoes over $100, where instead of shipping directly to the consumer, it ships to a middleman who verifies the item and the authenticity of it, and then they, from there, ship it to the consumer. And the whole idea of it, which I really didn't fully understand until just this call, was that they're trying to add an extra layer of trust to the brand. Because as of, the last 2 decades, there's been issues like stuff like rocks in a box. And this is something that me and Sweetnam talked about when he was on air. And he said that, it's just a problem that we've had forever. And it's something that really should be ending at some point. But there's no solid way to end it without putting the buck on someone. And right now, eBay is taking the buck. When you sell a watch for, $2,000, obviously they're making $200 in fees, but they're using some of those fees to absorb the authentication cost. Now, when you do a sale with a $100 pair of shoes, I don't think there's final value fees on shoes still. And on top of that, even if there was final value fees, I don't see somebody authenticating sneakers for $10 a pop unless the volume was insane. But they're saying that they're doing multi-point inspections and they're reboxing and shipping it out, and the inspectors have been highly vetted, but I can promise you we're going to have issues with corruption and theft somewhere in the supply chain. It's going to happen. Okay, if I was a postman and I knew every single pair of shoes I picked up from this place was authentic and real, that could lead to some problems. That could lead to some concerns, or could possibly even lead to theft. If I knew $1 million worth of inventory was passing through a single room for watches, leave me a little bit worried. So it's interesting to see the direction that they're going and why they're going that way. I'm happy for it. I am curious to see what other categories are going to roll out. Now, this is no different than a CGC, the Collectible Grading Comics Company, or PSA, or Wata Games, or VGA. This is an authentication service that, as of right now, is free, but I promise you, because if you look at Wata Games, which is a video game grading company, I believe Wata Games is a spin-off company of Heritage Auctions. So it would not be shocking to me that eBay, as an auction company, dipping its hands into the authentication market, is looking for a for-profit avenue at some point in time. Now, what will that for-profit avenue be? Will we be putting them in slabs? Like when you have a comic book in a hard case, will they be slabbing items and authenticating it that way? Will they be doing an authentication certificate with like images of the item? Like, what direction does eBay plan to go with this service that they've clearly invested millions of dollars into for the consumer? It's going to be really interesting to see, but it's another one of those things. When I was reading this book, and I'm going to talk about it a lot, when I was reading this book, it talked about how some of the most successful people during the Beanie Baby bubble weren't necessarily the people buying the Beanie Babies and selling the Beanie Babies. It was the people that were selling the ancillary products. Okay, we're talking like Beanie Baby tag protectors, Beanie Baby magazines, Beanie Baby websites that were selling ads, vendor sites to be able to sell the stuff that way. The people who are running the conventions to be able to shovel the product out. And it said, like, during the gold rush, it's not just the people who are out there actually doing the work to get the gold out of the ground. It's also the people who are selling the shovels. Okay, so grading as a whole and grading goods is basically a shovel salesman. You're selling the shovel. You're a ancillary market to as a third party player to ensure that other people make money. It's very interesting. I am a shovel seller as well, but just in a different capacity. I'm here to make sure that you make money. Okay, but at that same time, I would also like to make money as well, because like that one guy said, anyone who's good at this usually isn't on YouTube. I'd like to think I'm okay at this profession. So it's going to be interesting to see just kind of what happens. And then we talked about certified refurbished. They made a big emphasis on the call about this. Certified refurbished items are like a Dyson vacuum cleaner that got returned. Nothing's wrong with it. They test it, inspect it, and then they sell it out. Now, certified refurbished is interesting because there's coupons online right now, so you can get the certified refurbished items just a little bit cheaper. Okay, and on top of that, the certified refurbished items come with a 2-year warranty as well. And you get a 30-day hassle-free return, which is simply something we can't offer even if we wanted to. I don't think you can sell an item with a 2-year warranty on it on eBay. So I do see a lot of trust coming to the platform, and it's going to invite a lot of first-time customers to the platform too. On top of that, they also talked about adding virtual tracking to UK and Australia. They talked about negotiating with USPS to ensure that we did not have a pricing increase during the holidays. And what was really interesting is that normally they allow 30 to 35 minutes for questions, but this time around they only allowed 20 minutes for questions. And I'll tell you, that 20 minutes got eaten up by some very wordy people who had very little to say, and the answers offered very little guidance as far as what's going to be happening in the future. There was a lot of emphasis on payments and advertising during this time. But at the same time, they said, hey, what are you going to do to ensure that the next generation of eBay buyers is excited and captivated and ready to be here and spend their money? We talked before, 6 months ago, about how other sites like Jingdong and Katie and these other international selling sites are leagues ahead of where eBay is right now. As far as functionality, the look of the site, the overall feel of the site, eBay is an ugly and clunky, tired site. And who was it that said it? I think it was Yanone said it. He said, basically what we're doing is imagine being in a plane that's flying through the sky, and we're trying to repair one part at a time while it's flying from front to back. It makes sense. And you have some of these other sites that have cropped up over the last decade that have coding from a decade ago, and they look so much better. It's so much easier to work with because it's not a 25, 26-year-old site anymore. So the question was asked, what are you going to do? How are we going to change this? Well, I want to know, where is the modern experience, like videos on items? When can we get stuff like that? Okay. When can we get a more polished looking site where we don't have really old pages? You can find 20-year-old pages on eBay still that have just never been cleaned up. Okay. That's what I want to know. How will these ads evolve to engage new users to the platform? I'd like to think anyone who is alive right now who does any buying or selling online knows what eBay is. They either use it or they don't. But what do you do to convert new people to the platform? People who know what eBay is, but they don't have a desire to use it. Okay. So they talked about their growth. And I'll be honest with you, I am sincerely worried about eBay and their current growth situation. And it's not because they're complete idiots and they don't understand why they're growing. Maybe they are. I think they're a little bit misguided. And I'll tell you this right now. They are seeing an insane amount of support on the back end of coronavirus, okay, which is a thing, and they're not necessarily directly attributing their success to that, but they're also seeing an insane amount of growth because of the collectibles market. Did you know, talking about this again, did you know at one time 20% of all volume done on eBay was for Beanie Babies? 20% of all volume done on eBay was Beanie Babies. So much so to the point where it was under a firm understanding that if the Beanie Baby market collapsed, that it would completely destroy the platform. That's how delicate the situation was at the time. Okay. Well, what are we seeing right now happening? We're seeing a large speculative market, okay, on collectible toys, on collectible video games, and on collectible trading cards, propping this site up. And we also have a virus currently going on, propping this site up. So they're sitting there and they're saying, well, hey, we have ad dollars and a marketing campaign, and we're throwing money at it. But my problem is that that's no different than promoted listings, in the sense that, how do I know that my efforts are actually completing anything, that they're actually converting anyone? They said that when they have a new buyer come to the platform specifically to work with shoes, they have the LTV, or the lifetime value of the consumer. They said that somebody who's coming there specifically for one type of item, a collectible type of item, a card or shoe or whatever it might be, generally ends up purchasing in 10 different categories. And then they also said that the LTV, or lifetime value of that customer, increases by 2x if they can convert them to a seller on the platform as well. Well, what is the collectibles industry? It's buying and selling goods. Okay, that's what it is. People buy the stuff that they want to get, and whether they're speculating or collecting. And let's be honest, all collectors are speculators on some level, because I'll tell you what, I may like these things, I really don't, but if I did, okay, I'm not going to get buried with them. All collectors sell eventually. And what happened with the Beanie Baby market? Okay, everyone put their product online, and there was far too much product, and you know how quickly Beanie Babies died? You might have been there during the process, but Ty Warner, the owner of Beanie Babies, made an announcement that they were no longer going to make Beanie Babies anymore, and the market was already on a downturn on the fad. People were not interested or excited about it anymore. It took like 45 days. 45 days for the fad to die. Now, Pokemon has a lot of cross appeal, but it's still a pulp culture collectible. It is susceptible to the same risk. And anyone who's investing into Pokemon or video games or trading cards or anything like that has to understand it is not an established market. Same thing with sneakers. Okay, eBay can try their damnedest to pump money into this sneakers category, and they can literally hold up the collectibles market and say, hey, this is the place to come, this is the place you want to be for sneakers, and they can make this huge thing of sneakers. Sneakers is not a sustainable market. The sneakers market will crash, and it will crash incredibly hard. It will be a crash of epic proportions when people realize that their shoes are worthless. And not so much so, we're not talking the top, again, even top 10% of the hardest shoes to find. Great, cool, thumbs up. Those ones are going to still be worth some money. But we're talking about the speculators who are buying $50 to $100 pairs of shoes, putting them inside of a little plastic vault and throwing it inside of a little closet. The market will collapse. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when, because shoes, you know, in the esoteric sense that they are now, okay, not only is it a super niche market, but they're a product that just naturally dies over time. Unless you're sitting there and conditioning the leather once a year, the shoes will naturally deteriorate. It is a very, very scary market. Okay, so be careful if you're parking your money in shoes. And eBay, if you're listening to this, please do not prop up the collectibles market, and please do not take credit. Don't take credit for being the reason why your numbers are so good. It's coronavirus, and it's the collectibles market that's in a flurry right now. And it's not just the types of collectibles that you see. It's also historical documents, it's wines and other spirits, it's weapons. All of these markets are on the up right now, okay, because collectibles as a whole is up. What do you think is going to happen when you pump trillions of dollars into the economy and people get that money and they don't need it? They want to park it someplace, and they want to park it in something that they feel like is going to grow, especially those who are doing well already. If you've already got $50,000 or $100,000 worth of investable goods, and then somebody comes along and, let's say, because of COVID, your business or your brand is seeing a huge boom, what are you going to do? You're going to keep investing, and now you create an unnatural shortage on goods, which is eventually going to collapse. I know I'm going long-winded on this little topic, but there's a lot to cover. It's really interesting to see what's going to happen. I promise you, mark my words, within 12 months, I mean, it's really hard because we don't know what's happening this month, which I'll touch base on at the end of the show. Bipartisan, of course. In a year's time, eBay will have a drawback on its active buyers. It's going to happen. They're not gathering lifetime buyers naturally. They're gathering lifetime buyers through the collectible market. And when the collectible market collapses, everything else is going to collapse. But we're going to talk about what you can do to make sure you make as much of this money as possible while it's still going around. Another interesting key takeaway is that 80% of the volume that eBay does comes from 4 countries. 80% of it. Okay, so they're not as much of a global brand as you might think. They said that, what else? Yep, yeah. Oh, and one last key fact that I thought was really neat that I did not know about before. You know how we were talking about that authentication service, which comes to watches and it comes to shoes? It is actually in both directions, which is kind of neat. So if I sell a $2,000 watch, they authenticate it, goes to the buyer gets it, switches it out, sends it back to the authentication. That's where they catch it, and that's where they deal with it. So that's good to know. We got a comment here. Their growth was very disappointing compared to the growth of other online platforms during this, I'm assuming, time. I did not compare the other platforms. It's going to be interesting. And I do think that eBay has positioned itself to capitalize on the collectible market unlike any other platform has done so far. I really think they have. So we'll see what happens with it. I got to run some air up here, guys. It is getting hot again. I just sold a Sailor Moon CD or DVD. Give me 1 second. I got an eBay message. Just an FYI, you have these posted as 44 EU, but they are 44.5. Thanks. A half European size is such a negligible difference, but I'll probably go through and update that listing. So here we are. We've wrapped up our news. I don't think I have any other news. Is there anything else I was supposed to talk about? I forgot. I want to let you guys know we're going to do some pickups. I got a lot of items. I don't know if I'm going to get through them all today. That's okay if I don't. But we're going to do our best to churn through them and give you a little bit of stories along the way too. Got James Barker in the house. What's up, brother? But yeah, if you have any questions during this time, this is the best time to ask them. But otherwise, I'm going to slow down a little bit. We're going to look at some items, and I am going to do this for another hour, give or take. And then I am going to go get a Jack and Coke because I think I might take tomorrow off. But I say that every day, and then I end up working another 12. So without further ado, let's take a look at some items. Guys, check this out. I have never stumbled across a nice Lego set. And this is the Lego Ideas set number 200, I believe it is. Number 20 of the Lego Ideas 962 piece bottle ship. Now, those of you who have keen eyes and have been paying attention, you may have noticed I built it before the show. And it's not because I needed to. I really didn't. But don't drop it. Don't drop it. I wanted to do it just because I don't ever slow down. And I thought it'd be really cool to build a Lego set. Look how nice this is. Looky, looky. So this Lego set used sells for about $50. It's nice and complete. It has everything in there. These are actually 2 separate pieces, which is kind of nice. Really nice, like extra embellishing and stuff like that. If you're interested in this set, let me know. I can even dismantle it for you too if you want the joy of building it yourself. But it is a 100% complete set. I'm very pleased with it. I paid $4.99 for it. Thank you, Smiley Girl. I do like it. I paid $4.99 for it. It's worth about $50. It'll cost a tenner to ship, but I was just more excited about having it. Gonna be completely honest with you. Got some extra pieces with it too. I picked up some of these nice baskets. I don't know if this makes sense to some of you, but having utility baskets lying around for quick sorting on goods, every now and then I'll end up coming across a lot where I'll need to section some stuff out. And I love having these. And then I also use them for conventions as well. I got the pair of them for $1. I'm always trying to keep my eyes open for things that I can benefit in life from. I found this interesting item. This is called AccuSwing. And this is some Velcros that you attach to a golf club. I had a little ball with it too, so that way you can practice indoors to see where your hit is actually hitting on the club. You swing into it and sticks to it. Last one of these sold for about $20, none available online anywhere. I will probably be asking $39.99 on it. I don't care if it takes a year to sell. Somebody will buy it. What else do we got? Look at this beauty. Now, normally, I don't work with purses. This is a Kate Spade, however. I was at Santa Maria, about 2 hours away from here, and I printed out a full list of the thrift stores that I was going to go to, and one of the thrift stores I went to had a bunch of beautiful bags. And normally, I will not stop to look at bags because they're all garbage. But once you find one or two good ones, you're like, you know what? I'll go ahead and slow down and look through some bags. Again, friendly reminder, those of you who don't know, our show is Patreon funded. If you would like to become a patron, check out the link. We're probably going to have to redo the tiers because I'm not going to be doing the Reseller Roundup. But we're going to, if you want to help us out, that's how you help us out. I'd like to think that I am worth at least $2.50. Okay, you learned something today. You know, full circle. I was talking with the girlfriend about this. I was even talking with one of my other buddies. I told him, I'm like, what you plant in the world is what you're going to get back. You got to make sure you do some selfless things every now and then. You got to put those seeds of positivity out there because they're going to come full circle for you. And I'm not asking you to give me your money tonight. I'm saying consider it. And here's the thing. If you don't give it to me, give it to a creator you do like. Okay? Being a content creator is very difficult. And you should support at least one. I support 6. And I'll share my list with you at some time if you'd like. Kate Spade, hot pink, great condition. Love it. Yeah, $60 bag. I believe I paid $8 for this one. A little bit more than I want to pay. But, you know, hot pink Kate Spade is just, it's a no-brainer in my book. Found this really cute one. This is a Volcom. It's like a canvas material here with a nice faux leather across the top. It has a little bit of the stripy print on the inside. I could not find an exact comp for this, but this is a really nice bag. Even the studs have the Volcom logo in it. Something like this you can expect to get probably about $40 for, and staging is going to be key on this. Maybe even $50 if you want to be aggressive. Great piece. Again, I think I paid $4 for that one. Girlfriend found this one, and she's dead set on making sure that she makes a profit on it. I did not want to buy this, but she felt strongly about it, and I told her, I'm like, if you feel strongly about an item, just veto me. Just buy the damn thing. And she's like, okay. So she bought this. It's a little lantern bag is what one of the patrons, I can't remember who it was able to help me out and tell me that that's what they believe this style is called. If you have different information, by all means, give it to me. I believe we paid $3 or $4 for this one. It's in good shape as well. I am personally projecting maybe a $20 or $25 bill out of it. But again, I don't know, so I can't say for certain. This is a neat one. So you guys might notice too. Sorry, the air is so dry in here. We are at 39% humidity right now. It's so dry. And the humidifier's in the other room. But yeah, this is a neat item. This is a backgammon championship set. You might notice some of my items are rather pretty looking, and it's because I've done most of the item prep before I bring them on air now, just time-wise. This championship set has a list price of around $100. They're really nice pieces. There's some type of stone. You can see this one has a nice finish on it as well. But it is some type of natural material, has the corresponding dice with it. This is like a carpeted material on the interior, carpeted on the exterior, and then it says championship one at the top. I have seen varying ones of different colors. I know the traditional browns do okay, but I'd like to think I'm going to do all right on this one. And oh, I remember what I was going to say earlier. I remember now. If you are a patron, you can buy any item you see at cost. I actually reached out to Brandy, one of our lovely patrons not Brandy. I'm sorry. Oh, I'm brain farting so hard right now. Do we have 2 Brandys? Hold on. Who did I reach out to? I don't want to get anyone's name incorrect here. Pamela. The original Pamela. I reached out to her because me and her have played backgammon online quite a few times. And I said, hey, if you're interested in this, let me know. I'll just pay for shipping and I'll send it out to you. But if you're a patron, you can get any item you want at cost, as long as you plan to keep it. Got this cute Disney resort bag. Brand new. Has the original tags on it. Got this at this really interesting thrift store. I think it was called Village Thrift. And they work with special needs, young adults. And they help them find quality of life through the work they do. And we actually ended up donating all of our change there. We had quite a few bills left, but we donated all of it to them after we were done doing our shopping. But we got this Disney Parks bag. And if you're in the Santa Maria area, I strongly recommend you check them out. Go there on a Tuesday. All of their clothing is $2. That includes jackets and dresses and everything. You get them $2 per item. But they sold me this backpack for $2. I didn't look it up because it's Disney Resort and it's new with the tags. I can't see it going for less than $20, but we might have to wait till all the kids are allowed to go back to school, but that's okay. And I think this might be the last of the bags. She found this one, and I gave a quick head nod to it. Really cute bag, and you can tell just the quality and the effort that went into building this thing. And on the interior, saw a great tag. This is a Lucky brand bag, best known for their jeans, but they make a whole bunch of other stuff. This bag has a list price of around $45. Obviously, condition is going to be king. This one is in fair condition, not great, but fair, and I still think somebody would buy it. Hopefully, we can spray and wash that stain out because I did not see it there until right now. Got this bad boy. This was actually accidentally put inside of a binder, and I was not going to show you this on air, but I will show you the binder right now. So I was inside of a thrift store, and I saw a bunch of these, and they had varying prices on them, $1.99 all the way up to $5.99, and I brought like 2 of them up to the counter, and I said, hey, you got all kinds of different prices on these, and again, you must be nice to people, okay? Don't go up there and assume things. Be nice to the people you're speaking to. Man, did I meet some disgusting resellers recently that make it so much harder for the rest of us. But kill people with kindness. I said, hey, you having a good day? Yeah, great, nice. Yeah, no, we're from out of town. We're having a great time here. Thanks for having us. I know she had some of these in the back. We want to get more of them. Some of them are $1.99. Some of them are like $5.99. If you could do $1.99 on all of them, I'd be happy to take them all. And she looks like, oh, okay, yeah, sure, we can do that. And there was only one that said $1.99. Every other one was $3.99 to $5.99. So I ended up running back. I bought these for $2 each. They have an Amazon list price of $29.95 with a take home of about $19 each. So we got $20 at $9. It's $180 profit. Very thrilled about that with only $18 in. Good stuff. They do take up a lot of a dimensional space, so I am happy they are going to Amazon. But I did get home and find a bike seat in one of these. It does have a brand on the back. I'll look it up. If it sells, you guys will be the first to know. If you haven't joined the Facebook group, I strongly recommend you do. I'm actually posting interesting content there from time to time. I put the link in the description for you guys, as well as in the comments. I picked this up, but let's be honest, the cat's out of the bag when it comes to calculators. Everyone knows that these are worth money now, and the secondary market is all over that. Used to be able to sell these for like $90. I think these are down to like $30 now. So definitely make sure you research individual Texas Instrument calculators before you go to list them. I asked them in store if they had batteries. They gave me AAAs, tested every button, worked fine. Just give it a quick wipe down, and I'm going to list it up. The pink and silver editions do really well. I know there's other colors that do well too. I'm going to show you 2 items that you might not know are worth money. The first one, I mean, who doesn't have a bottle of this lying around? The first one is we're going to be talking about good old Viagra. Viagra products do really, really well. Whether it's clocks or pens or other little, desk novelties and unique items, people buy these. They buy them either because they think it's funny. It's really funny to have a Viagra notepad on your desk. Because why would you have that? Who would have that? So it's a very deadpan-y, ironic, what's a self-aware type joke. I plan to get $30 for this notepad. I paid $1 for it. Great little pickup. And then what else did I get? Here's another really interesting one. I don't think we've ever talked about this on air, and it's kind of interesting that we already had a golf item earlier in the show. We have these vintage golf markers, and it's not just a few. There is probably close to 125, maybe even more, maybe 150, maybe even 200 inside this one bag. We have everything from Pacific Bank, Mid-State Bank, Wiener Schnitzel, Pepsi, Coke, Seminole Club. There's some Bakersfield ones in here. Bud Light, Diet Coke. Yeah, all kinds of different ones in here. People buy these. They buy lots of these. This quantity I can expect to probably get $50 or $60 for. And I paid $5.99 for them. So whenever you see something, Again, if you're not sure what it is, take a picture of it, post it to the group, ask. If you're part of our patron community, obviously you can ask on the spot. If you are a longtime member and you've tried posting and it says, your post needs to be pre-approved, I'm the only admin. Once we've seen you post a couple of times, there's probably about 30 of you now, your post will be pre-approved. So once you've posted a few times and we know who you are and we know that you're not going to post up garbage in the middle of the night, we'll pre-approve you for posting. So please post to the group if you have questions on stuff like this, because a lot of times people see this and they'll be like, I don't even know what those are, and they'll walk by a $60 bill. It could even be more than that. Some of the ones are very hard to come by, and there's cult followings for them. I got these as well. Food saver containers. Food storage, food preservation is a very hot commodity right now. These two are used, but with the original box. This is about a $30 bill. I paid $3 or $4 on it. Not the thickest of margins, but I'm not going to walk away from free money. And then I also found these. And this is what I mean, guys. I'd probably say out of everything that we have in here so far, I probably looked up about 95% of it on the spot. And it's because I didn't know what they're worth. That's just kind of how it is. So hopefully when you're watching this, you're learning some stuff and you're like, oh, I probably don't need to look that up. Or when you see it, you're like, oh, that's something I should look up. Okay, that's basically what the purpose of this is to give you the education to know, like, this is something I should be going after. I found these Van Doren. These are reeds, like for a flute or clarinet, excuse me. It's a pack of 10. Okay, this is about a $30 box. I paid $2 for it. And this was at, again, Santa Maria thrift stores. Random audiobook. Worth about $60, I think. If you scan this into Amazon, those of you who want to be weirdos and scan it in right now, there you go. There's your chance. Hurry up, pull your app out. This is a $60 audiobook, and I'm not even going to tell you what it's called because there's no point in it. When you see stacks of audiobooks, today I scanned probably about 50 of them, and I didn't find one out of the 50. Happens when you see a stack of audiobooks, you should stop what you're doing and scan through all of them on the Amazon Seller app. Now, if you're using eBay, it's going to be much more laborious. Everyone should have an Amazon Seller account with some type of good items in there, okay? Because it gives you access to the ability to scan, and you can just scan through stuff and save yourself the time and trouble of having to look things up manually. But yeah, great little pickup. And then the girlfriend found this one. Again, another casual aisle piece, and instead of like last week's one where it was maybe not that great of a design, this one, I love this one. That is super cute. Yeah, that one we're probably looking at about, I don't know, like $30-$40. People love that stuff, guys. I gotta take not even 5, I gotta take like 2 minutes to hit the head real quick. That energy drink really got me. Where is my hold screen? I will be right back. Right? How about that hold music? Let's give it up for whoever made it. Okay, what else do we got? We got some more items. I feel like I can talk slower now. I don't feel like I'm in as much of a rush anymore. I found like 8 of these. Okay. Oh, and the binders, I got 9. They're just not here. But I found 8 of these, and I bought one of them. These brand new sell for roughly $50 to $60. And the reason I didn't buy the other 7 is because the boxes looked perfect. But I opened up the ends on every single one of them, and they were dented. They had smash dents on the corners. So if you come across these and you think that they're brand new, please open them up. And they're not all equal. Not every one of these is worth money. But again, obviously, if you see new product, you should always be looking it up. And generally speaking, most slide items are worthless. Okay, but this is one of the good ones. So not much else to say on it, but just make sure that it's not dented to all hell. Picked up a pink Power Ranger Toy Factory plush. I have no clue what it's worth. Got it for $2. And I actually forgot to take the tag off of it. So again, with certain items like this, I will not look it up, especially when it comes to Pink Ranger. It's one of the more sought after Rangers. Because if I can't sell it online, I can always take it to a convention. There's no reason why I can't at least have it be a nice decor piece there. Here's a great one. This is one of the reasons why I really love this job. Finding unique items. Darren was mentioning that earlier. I've always enjoyed playing Rummy Cub, and I ran across this tournament edition Rummy Cub. Now, finding one of these isn't the wildest thing imaginable. This set is roughly $50 to $70, depending on the condition, for a used set. However, on the interior, this is a brand new tournament Rummy Cub set. Someone bought this and never used it, which means I'm probably going to ask 2 to 3 times value on it. So I'm going to list it anywhere between $109.99 to as much as $199.99. And I know 200 is super, super crazy. There might be one person out there in the world who's willing to pay it. Maybe at that $129, $139 price point, there might be a couple of people interested in it. But the reason why I want to go so aggressive is because I don't believe that there's more than a handful of brand new copies of this, probably in the entire world. It's just one of those rare little gems that you're going to stumble across every now and then where you're like, wow, that's a really, really great find. And this is one of them. So when you see tournament edition stuff, or you see stuff that may potentially be new, or stuff that you don't recognize, look it up. This is a great example of one of those types of items. Let's put it over here. Generally speaking, I try to avoid used puzzles, but when it comes to Ravensburger, we've talked about them before. I will go ahead and look them up. This puzzle in used condition sells on eBay between $40 and $50. It's a very sought after puzzle. This one is called... I know it has a name on it. It's 185 Grazelia Barano. And the neat thing about Ravensburger is that if a piece is missing, you can actually write them and they will send you the piece that you're missing. They'll mail it on out to you. So I feel a little bit safer, a little bit more confident selling Ravensburger than I do over other brands. But yeah, always look up Ravensburger when you see it. They're not all valuable, but the ones that are and the ones that people want, they do well. I almost spilled a whole bin right now. I found a sealed copy of Family Charades. Not a whole lot to say on this. Sealed board games, always scan them. $15 profit. Here is a very, very unique item. It was my score of the day when we were in Santa Maria. And it is loud, I know. This is Triple Crown Match Race Derby. And it is an electronic game that's similar to the one that you would play at the fair. And I opened this bad boy up. It has both horses, both flags, all 3 balls of both colors. It only has one of the center bars, which is unfortunate. I did not take the time to look at the battery bay. I should probably take this downstairs and do some testing on it. I did do the cleaning and that type of prep, but I did not open it up and actually test it. So that's going to happen. But this, I want to say I paid $2 or $4 for. The last one sold, I believe, was around $150 to $180. Certainly something to keep your eyes open for while you're out. Here's an odd item we may actually be keeping. This is the original award-winning Litter Quitter 3-step cat toilet training system, We have cats, and litter is expensive and disgusting to deal with. So we may actually be trying this out. The contents in here are essentially new. I went ahead and got everything repacked already. It has the original CD with it. We paid $4. This sells between $40 and $45 on eBay. Great pickup, doesn't weigh much. The entire interior is plastic. Probably gonna cost about $10 to ship. $4.50 in fees. Great little pickup item. If you see these, don't shy away from them. Just make sure that they're complete when you buy them. Easy money on these. We got a couple of beautiful books. The first one is The Wind and the Willows. This is a really nice edition book. This one sells for, I think, roughly $20 online. One of those special edition ones, might be through Barnes and Nobles or Borders or something like that. The girlfriend loves her books. We always look for the nice, ornate, pretty ones. If you don't know what you're doing, try and look for the good-looking ones. It's a kind of a quick and easy way to get started. And then the other one I found, she found that one, I found this one, is The Living Bible. And what really stood out to me was all of these tabs here on the end for reference. And it says The Living Bible Red Letter Concordance on the edge. And this starts at about $30 for this Bible and then climbs up depending on, the specific type of the Bible that you have. There's a lot of different variations. And it's very important. You do not write off Bibles when you see them in quantity. But anytime you see a book that's just a little bit different, a little bit unique, it warrants some additional research. So keep that in mind. Easy software pickup. Paints Pro 2019. I might even take a copy of this for myself. Nice little pickup. This is an odd one. I don't even feel great about having bought this one. I paid $3.99 for it, and it has a $40 sale price. This says the Wonder Box. I'm actually going to rip it open right now. I know you're like, why are you ripping this open? The reason I'm ripping it open is because it has expiration dates on the inside. Pink Power Ranger, current listing, new with tags, $8.99 plus $4.65 shipping. That's not horrid. It's not great either, though. It might end up finding its way to Mercari, where maybe I can get $1 or $2 more. But yeah, the expiration dates are on the inside. This is an Enfamil. It has baby formula and like a bottle and some coupons. This box sells for about $40 online. They must be current though. The only way that I was able to determine any information from the exterior of the box as far as the age was by looking at this delivery tag here and seeing a 2020 date on it. It made me feel a little bit better about spending $4 to buy it. So yeah, if you see a weird thing like this, look it up. You'll probably never see one though. I've never seen one in my life. Can you tell by looking at that real quickly that it's a Disney item? This is a Rex glow-in-the-dark puzzle. Open it up, looks great on the interior. It's used. As a used puzzle, this one sells for $30. So slow down. Look through your puzzles. Puzzles are hot still right now. People are looking for stuff to do at home. And then my girlie found this one. This was her hot item of the day. We've had some real bangers as of late, but this was her hot pickup. And this is a Jungle Gardenia by Tuvache perfume and powder kit. You can see it right here. Bottle actually looks great. I thought it was less full than that, but it did experience a little bit of evaporation. We paid $1.99, I want to say, for this, and this combination together will sell for about $150. So when you see your vintage perfumes and vintage cologne sets, stop and look them up. A lot of them are worthless, but every now and then, I'd probably say 1 in 40, or so, maybe even better than that, depending on where you're at, is going to be worth good money. And this happens to be one of them. So always look up your perfume sets. Thank you, Smiley Girl. What else do we got? I got to bring over the other bin. So that's all the stuff that we got out of town. Just so you know the timetable and how it worked. All of those items were gathered in roughly 6 hours in one day. So we decided what town we were going to, where we were going to stay. You know how I told you we went to that casino? I ended up calling them back and I said, hey, we had pretty good slot play. What can you do for us as far as rooms? And they gave us 2 nights for free. So I told her, I'm like, what we're going to do is we're going to go out of town. The first day, we're going to get into town at 10 and we're going to thrift until 6. That's the plan. I think we thrifted till maybe like 4:30 or so. And we just thrifted through the day and we ended up finding about $1,000 worth of profit the first day. And then we went to the hotel room and I'm like, okay, cool. We can enjoy the rest of the vacation now. Now that the money's been made for the trip, I can kind of kick back and relax. So all of these items that you've just seen right now were found in 6 hours of work. I was talking with somebody and I was telling them, I'm like, if you want to do this, you really can, but you just have to go and do it. This whole idea of like waiting and learning more and being afraid of getting started, you have to go do it. If you have a smartphone, you have everything you need to see if an item is going to sell or how much it's worth. And the only thing holding you back is yourself. So spend a day, go out 6 hours. And I'm not going to say every 6 hours you're going to find $1,000 worth of stuff. There's no way to guarantee that. But if you go work 6 hours, you can't come home with less than $200. And I'll tell you right now, you can go less than an hour away and find $200 in 6 hours. And if you don't think you can, tell me what town you live in. I'll come out there. I'll smash that town. I'm telling you, it's totally possible. Okay. Now, I did say that was all the items that we got out of town, but lucky for you guys, we went sourcing yesterday and we went sourcing again today. So we have a few more items for you. Hey, baby. Yeah? Can you put those bags over here for me? Just plop them into this bin. Here, I'll take it from you. Thank you. I'll put them right here. Yeah, I'll take that one too. Thank you, baby. What the heck is broken in here? Oh, I remember what those are. So today we went out. We hit the Salvation Army. Now, normally I don't buy bells. Okay, but we're coming up. It's very seasonal. Look at this assortment of bells. We got miniature bells, like the tiniest of tiny bells. Hold on, where is it at? Bells so small, I've never even seen bells that small. Here's my nail for scale. Look how small those bells are, okay? And we got multicolored bells. We got white bells, rainbow bells, silver bells. There's probably like 3,000 bells inside of this one bag. Okay, and they wanted $5 for it. And I said, we're coming up on the holidays. There's some artsy, craftsy person out there who will bid on this auction. If I start it at like $50, we're going to give them a whole ton of bells. And then I found another bag while I was there with these giant bells, normal size, and jumbo ones as well, and some mediums in there too. This bag was also $5. I said, this is really going to complement this other one. It's going to make for a great looking listing. I'm going to go ahead and buy the two together. I can't see a reason why I can't get $75 for the 2 bags of bells. So don't be afraid of branching out into new categories, especially when there's that much stock inside the bag as well. How you doing? Fine. I was telling the girlfriend I wanted a better pepper solution. We have a really crummy pepper shaker, and I bought oversized, I think table pepper is what it's called. It's the wrong pepper. And I told her I've been looking for one. She found this today, and this is beautiful. This is actually a handmade, and you can see, and those of you who have ever done work with wood, or if you ever watched anyone work with it, can tell just how much effort went into producing this pepper mill. They wanted $4 on it, but this is not stained. This is not some faux finish. This is actual, I think 6 or 7 different types of wood throughout, and creating this slanted pattern, not easy. It's actually signed on the inside. It says, I think it says RIP, literally RIP 2008 on the interior. We paid $4 for this. If I was going to sell it, I'd probably ask $50 or $60 minimum, believe it or not. But maybe a pepper mill expert can tell me what they actually think it's worth. But it's a beautiful piece. Yeah, I love it. Good find. Put that in the keeper pile. We found a plushie today. a Finding Dory plushie. We paid $2 on this guy. With the tag, it sells for around $20. Nice little pickup. And I found some yarn today. There was actually a bunch of different yarn there. There was some of the classic Red Heart multicolor yarn, and just a handful of different ones. This one, I paid $8 for these yarns, which is a little more than I like to pay. These are Araucana yarns. I can't even pronounce that. I'll show it to you though. And then it says hand painted finest Peruvian cotton. Hand painted yarn. That's a little interesting. So it got my attention. Some of these sell for 18 to 25 bucks a piece, and the 4 of them together, I can't see a reason why I can't get $50, maybe $60 out of the set. If something is unique about a category that you otherwise would consider bland, Pyrex, Tupperware, dolls, plates, anything that seems like really crummy. But if you see something really unique, take the time and look it up. And then more sealed media VHSs. These are great ones as well. Rank 186. I think they are like $5 or $6 profit each, but it's just so easy to throw them in with another Amazon order. We got this one yesterday. You know what? I'll tell you what. I'm going to leave all of the other items for once I'm done with this set. So the stuff I'm showing you, we got today, and we went to the thrift store because the swap meet was pretty crummy, kind of rained out. Oh, I have some toys in the backpack too. I'll show them next time. That's fine. So I found this after Daniel had already gone through a whole section, and I tell him, I'm like, you gotta slow down. And he was already done with the entire store, and I was on my second pass of the first aisle, and I found this bad boy. This is my gem of the day. This is Chosen, Your Journey Toward Confirmation. Look at the price I paid too. If you want to look that up and look at completed, you're going to be pretty blown away. This is an 8 DVD set, the last completed sale, $159 and change is what I believe it sold for last, plus shipping. There is none available today on eBay or Amazon, which means you guys know what that means. It means I'm probably going to list it for $200, and I paid $1.99. Obviously, stumbling across gems like this, it's not going to be often, but when they do come in, it is very, very nice. This was actually put in the wrong section. This was put in the board game section. It was just sticking out like this. I'm like, oh, what's that? And pulled it out, and I missed it the first time even. It wasn't until I was doing my second pass that I found it. So, don't write off all religious stuff. I know some people do that, but do not write it off. There's people with deep pockets who will pay good money for stuff like this. And it's in amazing condition as well. Okay, now we're going to look at all the things we got yesterday. We made a single trip to a Salvation Army, but we got there the exact moment that they were restocking. We're probably going to be going every Saturday from now on at 3 o'clock because they were just bringing bins of stuff out, and I've never seen anything like it before. We got this Traymate, and this is important to note that this is a Traymate version 1. They actually have 2 different versions of this item. I cannot find this item online. The Traymate version 2 do very well. They sell $40 to $60. The real big draw for me on this one is that, one, it's obviously still a viable and usable product, but it is brand new on the interior. Who would go and order this off TV? Maybe they ordered it for somebody else and the person never opened it, but it never used. So I'm not exactly sure how high I'm going to list it for yet. I have to go on Terapeak and look at some comps. I don't see it being less than 40. I don't expect to get more than 65 or 70 for it. But again, another great pickup. My gem from yesterday. We're talking about hot categories earlier in the show. This is another one. What was the other one? I can't even remember the other one we talked about earlier. Oh, it was food storage. Yeah, here's the other one. RVs. This is a 2-pack of RV seat covers, and you can see the price there in the corner. They wanted $18.99. I sweet-talked the cashier a little bit, and I got a 25% off coupon, and I ended up paying like $14.50 or something like that for these 2. The cheapest one available on eBay currently, I believe, is $115 for the pair on these. They're a little big, a little bulky, but now that we have FedEx, I expect to ship these out for about I don't know, $20, and then I'll pay my fees on it. So there's probably about a $60 to $80 profit to be had on these. But obviously the market is going to be all over the place coming into the holidays, and with a whole bunch of first-time RV owners, I could see these coming to be in very short supply, and I may wait it out till the prices get up. You know, I might play the speculative market. We were talking about speculative earlier. I may play the market out and wait to see if these get up to around $200, but who knows what will happen. Again, brand new condition. They feel great. Really nice piece. If I had an RV, I would actually keep these. They're very nice covers. While we were in line, there was a little bit of confusion. I had taken an item out of the cart, placed it into another cart. An employee, as we were paying for our stuff, pushed the cart past to the completed paid items, and he lifted it up. He's like, "This you?" And I'm like, "Oh, no. I put it in the other cart. We're not getting it." He's like, "You don't want it?" And I'm like, if you're giving it to you, he's like, yeah, here. And then he just put it in the pile, and he ended up giving us this for free. I was going to pass on it because the margins were too slim. They wanted $4.99 on it. I would have bought it for $2. I think it sells for $15 on Amazon with like a $9 take home. But for free, I'll definitely take the $9. I'm real happy to have that $9 profit for absolutely no reason. I can't help it. I have to get that tag off of there. And it's a Target edition. Now, if you find the older ones, older versions of Mastermind do go for more money. There's really no reason why they should, though. It's the exact same game. There's been no innovations or changes to the game in the last 40 or 50 years. But older ones do better. Pretty much all older Pressman games, including Othello, a classic Othello, is, I don't know, like an extra $100 more, especially for a sealed one. But yeah. Look, keep your eyes open for him. Girlfriend found this one. It's tongue-tied, tip of the tongue, 1,000 trivia questions. Interesting piece. We haven't done any of the inventory prep on these, so they still have the tags on them. Paid $4. I believe this has a $30 sale price on Amazon with about a $15 profit. What did we buy this for again? Ah, I remember. This is a random goodie bag. I'll actually crack it with you guys on air right now. I'm really curious what else is in here. So let's have a little bit of fun. The one item that I got this for, and you can see that it's still stapled the whole way across the top, was this item here specifically. This is a, what's it say? Liquid-filled PIC lensatic compass. Let's see if it works. Oh, it works beautifully. So we got a nice little liquid-filled compass with the brass housing. Very, very nice piece. Doesn't appear to have any cracks or damages. Has the tiniest little air bubble, which isn't a big deal. This compass consistently sells for $20. So that's why I picked up this bag. This whole bag cost, I think, $5. That's what it was. I can't even see it. Oh, there it is. Yeah, we paid $4.99 for the entire bag. We also received some applicator pads. These will actually be good for waxing the car, believe it or not, so I'm happy to have those. A tiny, I think this is a light. Oh, I think you have to stick a AAA here in the back end. Tiny little book light, which we actually wanted a book light. There you go. What is this? What would you put in there? Some type of wall mounting? What would you guys stick in? Oh, is it a towel? What do you do? Is it supposed to have a ring?
Maybe just have the hole to be decorative.
No, you could probably put a candle up top here. If you guys want this, give me the shipping cost. I'll mail it to you. Oh, curtains. Curtains. Well, I have one. Okay, so we'll just say curtain. It's the singular of it. We got this. It appears to be a sewing kit. It has a measuring tape, some buttons, some sewing needles, and what looks like shoelaces. Should get a good look on that. I'm actually more excited about the case than I am the stuff inside of it. A flashlight with batteries inside of it already. It's a $1 value. These are actually nice knobs. These are replacement stainless steel, appear to be oven or stove knobs. Really nice, or even for a barbecue. Nice piece. I don't know what I'm going to do with them. We used to have a yard sale pile, and I decided after the last yard sale that I had that I am never, ever going to have a yard sale again inside of a traditional house. My old house that was on Huntington Boulevard, you have the yard sale event once a year. You get 3, 4, 5,000 people coming down that street sometime. It's totally worth it. But now, this street, it is not worth it. So our yard sale pile has become our donation bin. If we can't sell it, so items like this, they're just going to cycle right back in again. Mike T, $10 super chat, says, I like your wood and bells pickup. The wood and bells. What wood did we have? Just the curtain piece? I don't even know if this is wood. I think this is faux wood. I think this is some type of ceramic. The bells are cool. I'll definitely keep you tuned in on the bells. If you're interested in some, if you'd like some of them, just let me know. I'll even cover the shipping. Just tell me what you want me to ship you out, and I'll be happy to send them your direction. But thank you so much for the $10 super chat. It really does mean a lot. And I promise you, I will squander it tonight. And I'll send you a picture of what I squander it on. So, yeah. But thank you so much for that, buddy. It's always appreciated. Let's see what else we got. Crystal radio kit. People have these listed for far too much money. I think they're asking $50, $55 on them. There was a used one that sold for about $30. I think the appropriate price is around $40, maybe even $45, but I'm going to price it correctly and get it sold. This is a vintage science experiment kit that you cannot find anymore. And it's brand new and sealed. So I should get good money for it if it's done correctly. I paid $3.99. $1.99 more than I wanted to spend, but I'm happy with it. Girlfriend found this one. This is a US West Diamondbacks Rattler. It's $1.99 is what we paid. This is going to go for $25 on eBay. That's what they sell for. It's actually a really neat piece. If I was going to a Diamondbacks game, I would totally bring this. I'm sorry, what?
I followed your advice, so put it down so you know what it is.
You know what she said right now? She said, I followed your advice and I didn't put it down until I knew what it was. And I've really gotten on her about that because that perfume set, she picked it up, looked at it and put it down. And I'm like, did you look that up? She's like, no. And I'm like, you really should. And I didn't know what it was worth at the time. And then she looked it up and then her jaw dropped and then she showed me her phone. And then she looked at it again. I'm like, yeah, that's a really good item that you got right there. And that's, what I was talking about earlier when I said, when you first start out as a reseller, it's a very frustrating and challenging process because you're going to look up hundreds of items and that's natural. But if you don't get that early success, it's going to be even more frustrating because you're going to feel like you're a failure at a new job and nobody enjoys that at all. But I promise you in time, if you're starting out, just keep at it. But if you're committed to the process, you're going to find stuff eventually. My biggest scores of the week, this stupid DVD set, and I do call it stupid. Almost everything I sell I think is stupid because I would never personally spend that amount of money on it. The DVD set that we got, what was the other expensive thing? The chess set, the Rummy Cub set. None of these items I thought were worth a damn thing until I actually stopped and looked them up, and then I realized just how much money they were worth. You can always have your hunch, but you don't really know until you know. Do you and your girl split profits, or what is hers and what is yours? That's a good question, actually. So we have an interesting arrangement. I take care of a majority of the finances here at the house. So when we find stuff, all of it pretty much goes to the same place because we're pretty much a team unit. All of the money is going to the same place with the same goal in mind. And then with certain items, like something like the pink Power Ranger, I'll do the photography for it, and then I'll just kick the item across to her for Mercari, and then she'll sell a good handful of items onto Mercari, and then all of that money just gets dropped straight into her bank account. But she has one of my debit cards on her right now, and when she needs things, she just goes and buys them. But I think that, I don't know, I think we've been at this for over a year and a half now, right? A long time. So at a certain point, you have to say, like, you have to act as if. That's what somebody had talked about, like when it comes to doing YouTube. You just got to act like you've been doing YouTube forever. You just kind of pretend and have that right look. And same thing with relationships. Like if you want to go to the end, you have to just pretend like you're all in and kind of hope for the best. And no, well, you know what I mean. You kind of have to go through the roles. You kind of have to just act as if like this is how it's going to be. Fully commit early. I was reading someone's post online the other day, and she was saying that like there's so many guys out there who are afraid of somebody who's willing to commit to the relationship and like give their all early on. And I put a comment back to her and I said, if you really like a man, I'm like, cook him a steak within the first week. Okay, like just cook him a steak, and if he doesn't start ring shopping right away, then he doesn't know what he has. So if you just dive in with that commitment, and the same thing can be said, which is true of business, and I hate that there's so many analogies that are a balance between relationships and work, but if you're persistent and you commit to the process and you just keep trying and trying and trying, eventually it will work. You probably didn't like me for months, right? And then just one day, it just finally tipped over. Here's an item you would not have looked up. Puzz 3D for the PC. Now, my factory seal here at the top has become detached, and there's a little bit of residue, but I promise you, I am going to reseal this bad boy because the contents on the inside are brand new. The CD in here has the original factory shrink wrap around it. This is a brand new CD. This big box, we call it big box because sometimes you can buy the CD on its own, is worth $45 on Amazon and has a very competitive rank as far as software is concerned. I paid $3.99. And sometimes when we think of outdated software, we're thinking things made for Windows 3.0 even, 3.0, 3.1, 95, 98, ME, even XP, old software. Most of the times it's dead tech, dead software, but every now and then you're going to get a game that was never reproduced, never re-released, didn't make its way to Steam. That's going to be worth some bucks. And this is one of those ones that's worth some bucks. So keep your eyes open. Pretty much anything Puzz 3D is worth slowing down and taking a look at. I didn't even look at this item until right now. Sometimes I buy items and I don't ever even look at them. I just hit them with the barcode scan. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. This is worth $25 and I'm paying $3 for it. It's magnetic tile art. I'm not going to give you any information on it because there's nothing to be learned. Just again, sealed products, always look them up. I forgot I bought this for me. I really want to try and get some better set decorations. At least that was the mindset I had a week ago. So I bought this little Brookstone puzzle box. This is actually worth like $30, believe it or not, just because it's Brookstone. It's branded Brookstone on the side. But there's 6 puzzles in here, 3 wood and 3 metal. Nice little pickup. I think I paid $4. Yeah, $4, but I do plan to keep it though. I bet none of you have ever seen this before because me and her have never seen this item before either. Who can tell me what this is? I will be very, very impressed if you can tell me what this is. I kind of gave it a quick look over and I was able to make that correct guess. I'm going to show you the next item while you guys get your guesses in.
You should do what it's meant for.
Huh?
You should do what it's meant for.
Oh, you think I should?
Yes.
Okay. Mike says it's a small plush couch. You're on the right track. I found this ornamental fan. It says, ceremonial fan. I couldn't find any information on this. I took a $2 hunch on it. Oh, Amber Butterfield coming in clutch. She is correct. It is a tissue box cover. And we actually have the original. This is, it's probably resealed, so that's fine. And we have a box of tissues, and my beautiful assistant is going to help assemble this for me so we can show you what it looks like. She's very pumped about it. I paid $2 for this. It's a watch out for the staples. They'll destroy you. I can't tell you how many times I've reached into like a grab bag and just started bleeding profusely. I paid $2 on this. I think I can get 15 or 20. I don't know why I got it. It just seemed like new stock. You know, people are into arts and crafts right now. I thought it was interesting. It's the last of an era. You can't even sell stuff like that anymore. I picked up this model, Tamiyama, and there's a handful of other brands. This one is about a $35 model. Now, they're not all going to be that valuable. Every now and then, I don't know if you remember that treasure trove. I stumbled into an estate sale that had a few hundred of these, as well as a few hundred board games. It was the month that I think I made close to $20,000 in 1 month. But boy, did I never want to list again. This is a great little piece. $35 is what I expect to get, even with the box crushing on the outside. I paid $2 for it. Here's one. You guys ever have those bolos where you're like, one day I'm going to find that, and you spend an eternity trying to locate it? I finally found one, a copy of Cash Flow from the makers of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, which is another book on my reading list. I've heard bad things about the author, but it is on my reading list. I do believe that these are $40 to $60, and I hate to give you such a wide range. I did not look it up when I bought it. I have no clue if these are even $100 right now. Didn't even open the box. It's heavy, okay? But I'm expecting that I'm going to do well on it. This is something that's been on the BOLO list forever. If for some reason it's not anymore, then let me know. Mr. Exquisite, if you know how much it's worth, let me know. And then Mike T says, good guess, Amber. Let's go ahead and see the final product. Here we go. Here, we'll even do a little bit of confetti. Boom, look at this bad boy. Look at that. That is a beaut. Man, if that doesn't sell the item, I don't know what will. We'll go ahead and start the bidding at $25. Anyone interested in this beautiful Kleenex dispensing couch? I wish these little pillows came off. This is so cute. Is it new or used?
I didn't. Gently used.
Gently used. The pillows have small stitches on the back to where they stitch the fill inside of it. It's very weird. Oh, it has a brand. Mm-hmm. Eunice. Home Fashion. Look at that. Wow. She said Cash Flow for kids is a good one too. I'll definitely keep my eyes open. I paid $4 for this. Pleased to have it. Like I said, my first time, at least that I can ever remember. Certainly a chance. I think I might have had the kids one now that you mention it, but it's my first time remembering having this one. Now, we got 3 items left, and then we're going to be going off air. Okay? I'm going to have my little wrap-up talk with you guys at the end, too. But we got 3 interesting items. We got a Rainbow Dash Build-A-Bear. I've had poor luck finding these in good condition. Usually this hair is matted to all hell. Kids will blow dry it and comb it and rub dirt into it for some reason. They're usually destroyed. I'm happy to have this one in good condition. I think they're like $18, give or take, but we're going to card it to a convention and ask $20. Somebody will pay that there. And then an animal that I would not have gotten. A girlfriend found this one. It says, "You're my lobster." And this is, as she said, a Friends reference, the TV show. I watched a lot of Friends, but I do not remember what episode that this came from. We paid $2 for it. The ask price, we're going to probably aim for somewhere between $20 and $25. This is a great little kitschy Christmas gift. I could see somebody jumping after this, make their partner, giggle on the inside, some inside joke that they have together around that. That's where that'll probably end up going to. The butt tag is cut off on that one, unfortunately, but that's all right. Now, you guys know I've talked about a lot of different YouTube channels. There's one, I'm going to pull it up really quick because I want to make sure that who messaged me? Whoa! Pamela messaged me and she has some bells listed for $21 for a single pack. And it's got watchers on it. So I guess there could be some serious money in vintage bells. I'm probably going to have to slow down and actually take a look at what I got in there. Thank you so much for that, Pamela. And yeah, if I score, I'll definitely kick you out a few pairs. Thank you for that intel. I probably would have bulked those all together. Let me see if I can find the channel. It's a really, really good one. It has to do with Japanese culture. What is it called? I think it's Japanology. I am looking for it. I'm going to find you guys a great little playlist. Okay, I got one here. I got to stop playing music or I'm going to get in trouble. So, okay, so there's this show that I watched a lot of. It's called Japanology. And they talk about different parts of Japanese culture and Japanese history. And I found it fascinating. I am really, I mean, I guess most Westerners are really like intrigued by Japanese culture, especially like for me, like the respect that people have for each other and the effort that people give to other people. And now there's a certain level of cohesiveness. As I said, we haven't felt in like 4 years. One of the episodes that I watched covered the topic of doing these really beautiful and ornate string tying around letters and envelopes for like ceremonial reasons, whether it's, you know, weddings or birthdays or thank you cards and stuff to that effect. And still to this day, there's places that you can go to and you can have this done for you and you can pay money for it. Well, I found this gorgeous bag with a handful, or quite a large handful of different examples on the inside. And you can see it's beautiful and ornate, just lovely. And these are done, I believe these are done on rice paper. And the one here on the back even says Incorporated Japan on the back. And you can see there's a whole lot of them. I'll even open it up for you. I haven't even opened this up yet. This is one of the items that I've been super excited about diving into and getting a closer look at. I did not look these up. This is based purely on what I'd seen. If somebody wants to look them up, by all means. But I just knew when I saw them that there was going to be no reason to. But yeah, there's just some apps. Oh, lost a piece. Absolutely beautiful pieces. And these slip off the top, and then you can write on the interior. I don't know if these have any writing on the interior. I don't know if they're used or not. But you can see there's just gorgeous hand-tied pieces. This one's a little smashed up, unfortunately. But it says right here in the back, made in occupied Japan. So I believe that pins the era somewhere around, you know, and correct me if I'm wrong, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, somewhere in that era. But, you know, I've only seen a handful of occupied Japan pieces in my life. Look how beautiful this one is. And, you know, I can't imagine that these are worth less than like at least $15 a piece for something like this. Some of these are going to have to be cleaned up a little bit, obviously. It's really unique. Really, really unique. And it's something that I'll follow up with everyone on as I start to do research and as I start selling. And kind of let you know what's going to happen with them. And I also got this killer red basket. Look at this thing. It's a laundry basket, but I've been looking for a better way to move inventory up and downstairs. I paid $4 for this thing. Thrilled. You guys don't know this, but there's a process that this inventory goes through. It comes from the car to the garage now, where inventory prep happens, where I remove tags and I clean and I do all that. Then it goes from there upstairs. Everything gets brought upstairs where it's displayed for you, then photographed, and then it all gets repacked and then moved downstairs and then placed on the inventory shelf. And then it gets packed and then it gets brought back upstairs and I make the labels and then it gets brought back downstairs again. It's horribly inefficient, but that's the space that we have to work with. So we got to do our best with what we have. So last chance for Q&A. If you guys have any questions before we wrap up, we're coming up at 2.5 hours already and I'm ready for some food. Did we figure out what we're eating tonight?
Kind of want a wet sandwich.
Girlfriend's looking to get a torta, or as we call it, a wet sandwich around here. I don't know what I'm going to have. Last call for questions. So. As you guys know, this has been a very interesting week. Very, very interesting week. I'm just getting some of my windows ready. Now, whether your guy won or lost doesn't really matter. Oh, Thomas has a question? Any question? We'll get to it after the wrap up, maybe next week even. So, whether your guy won or lost, or you're still waiting to know whether he won or lost. Believe it or not, I didn't know this, but the media doesn't decide who wins or loses. We'll actually see here in time. No final decision has actually been made, but it's an interesting period in time. I once read a book, and it talked about being recession proof and like how to stay profitable during a recession. And I think that's very important, that you not only look at your own personal situation, your own personal financial situation when it comes to doing stuff like investing and choosing whether or not to up your inventory or start thinning down your inventory, and that you need to take into account a multitude of different factors. Right now, we have a lot of things happening, and there's a lot of worry for a lot of people, whether it be the people that hope that one person wins or the people that hope a different person loses. We have a lot of things going on. And I think it's really important to understand that you have to sound out a lot of that noise and remember that you can spend a whole lot of your day concerning yourself with things that don't actually benefit your own personal life. Because even if we look back over just the last 4 years, my support of X person or my hate of X person really didn't make me any money. And I would like to have thought that at some point in time I could have convinced or changed any single person's opinion. I really didn't do much to actually spin those wheels of progress in either direction. And you know what's sad but true? I'm probably not going to do the same over the next 4 years either. But what I did do in my 4 years is I saw record growth for myself, especially here in 2020. YouTube has done fair, Patreon has done fair, eBay, Amazon, and now Mercari added to the roster are all doing great. And I think it's important to make sure that you don't allow the amount of things that you're concerned about to become all-consuming. I talked about this before on air about how I had a boss who once told me, he's like, you have 2 circles in life. You have your circle of concern and your circle of control. And oftentimes we find ourselves getting really enveloped with the things that we are concerned about. And it's proportional. Your circle of concern and your circle of control account for 100% of your life. And if you allow your circle of concern to get larger and larger, your circle of control actually gets smaller and smaller because you only have so many hours in the day to really invest thought, time, and energy into. And eventually, if you let your circle of concern get so large, you end up having no time for the things that you actually control, to the point where it gets erased and there's just nothing left. You're too busy worrying about other people and what they're doing. And you've even heard people say that as well. You're too consumed with what other people are doing. And that's what seems like the last 4 years feels like to me. Now, I haven't given up any hope, I guess. At the end of the day, it's important that we have a fair electoral process. And I don't think anyone on either side of the bench can argue against that. We want to see what's going to happen. But whether one thing happens or the other thing happens, like I said, I want to stay bipartisan with you. It doesn't really matter, okay? Your circle of control and what you're going to do with your life and your family and your business is your number one concern. Okay. And it's important that just like with the recession, the housing recession in 08, 07, that you position yourself to stay effective during this time. Effective, whether it be profitable or through networking and marketing, whether it be effective through protecting your home and your family, that you stay effective through making sure that you're still able to do the things that provide a quality of life that you want to have. Right now, we're going to see a bunch of things happen over the next 3 to 6 months. I personally believe that we're going to see another stimulus payment come out, regardless of who ends up in office. I think that's going to happen. And just like with the last one, I said, what do you need to do? You need to get your net out and ready to catch as much of this money as possible. Right now, we're talking about what? Pre-holiday, bulking up your inventory as much as possible. Extend yourself. Okay. If you don't have much money, that's okay. Extend yourself. Get as much inventory as you can because, as I said before, the collectibles market is hot. Online shopping is hot. And when you hand people $1,200 to $2,400 per person, if you're not standing out there with your net open, ready to collect all these dollars, guess what? They're just going to fall on the ground. You're not going to get any of it. So position yourself strategically to take advantage of the situation, whether it goes the way you want or whether it goes the way you don't want. It doesn't really matter. And for most of us, it's not going to matter. Okay. It's important that you just focus on you, Focus on your family, your friends, and your profitability. Don't allow yourself to get too wrapped up in what other people are saying, because guess what? They also have to be concerned about themselves and their families and their well-beings. And just don't engage. Either way, just don't engage, because it's not worth it. And if you believe you're right, again, with whatever side you're on, if you say, I'm the guy who is right, it's all right. To be right, you do not have to convince someone else that they are wrong. I've told this to my girlfriend. She didn't like hearing it, but I told her, I'm like, sometimes the best way to win a fight is to lose it. She doesn't have to know that she's wrong if she's wrong. It doesn't help anything. Sometimes it's just best to let it be, because you're going to get a better result that way sometimes. You don't have to fight to be right. Sometimes you just have to tell somebody you care and tell them you love them and that it's okay. Either way, don't lose any friends this week. People, don't lose any family this week. I promise you it's not worth it. It really isn't. And if you have, maybe go apologize. Okay. Again, I understand there's a lot at stake here moving forward into our future, but preparation is key. Whether you are staying in America or leaving, it's important that you yourself position yourself to have the ability to make that decision. Because when you have no opportunity to make decisions and you find yourself backed up into a corner, you don't have enough money to cover the things you need to cover, or the emergencies or the expenses or whatever it might be, or you can't afford a plan B, that's when it gets really scary. Don't put yourself in that position, especially if it's because you're too busy worrying about other people and what they're doing. That's pretty much everything, guys. Got a question real quick, and I'll take a few more if we got any more. But we're going to wrap up this week. Selling a vintage Virginia Tech hoodie practice helmet. In your opinion, on auction, would you start the bid at 99 cents or set a higher starting bid around $100? To add to that, it's a very unique item and a rare listing. I think it can bring in a hefty payment. Thank you for your time. With all items, it's important to know what the item is actually worth. So whether that be going through collectible groups, whether that be going to Terapeak or WorthPoint, you should do research and determine the item's exact worth. If you are planning on doing an auction, you should not accept less than what it is exactly worth. So if your research tells you, yeah, this helmet is going to be worth $500, no less than $500. But when you tell me an item is rare, is it rare because there aren't many available, or is it rare because there's not many online? If there is zero online, then you should probably run an auction. Or if your item is very, very nice, high quality compared to the other ones out there, then you should probably run an auction. But the auction price should be no lower as an opener than what you expect to get for the item as a buy it now. So if you say, if I was going to list it as a buy it now, I'd list it for $600. $600 should be your opening bid. No reason why not, because there's no reason to accept less than that. And if you feel that there's a big enough swarm of people who want this item, that the item can supersede that price, then an auction is the way to go. Now, the downside to this, though, is that if you have an auction and you try and auction it for $600 and nobody bids on it, that auction is going to be there for 90 days in the history, which means you probably are going to have to wait 91 days before you relist it as a buy it now. So that way the failed auction isn't there as an indicator of the item not being worth that much money. So hope that advice helps you out. I wish you the best of luck on selling it. If you'd like some additional support, anyone out there would like some additional support, www.bolorama.com, BOLORAMA.com. We just recently added all of the recent episodes of Reseller Roundup now in our video directory for Q3, Q4 for 2020. And we also added an active chat button. So you can just go ahead and hit the chat button in the bottom right corner. I'll receive a notification on my device and I'll get back with you as soon as I can. As I said previously, if you are looking to do any consulting, if you'd like to talk to me about anything in the world of reselling, just reach out. 20-minute consult calls are obviously on the house, and I'd love to be able to work with you. Again, friendly reminder, we have one more episode this year. If you want to see anything special, let me know. But other than that, thank you so very much for watching. It's been an absolute pleasure. And remember, if you don't make that money, someone else will. Have a great night.